Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most underrated series out there, Soul Eater. Now before we get started, make sure to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you never miss any updates. Now without further ado, let's get it. Soul Eater was created by Atsushi Okubo, a Japanese manga artist and writer. The manga was first published in Square Enix's monthly Shonen Gangan magazine in 2004 and ran until 2013. The anime adaptation of Soul Eater was produced by Bone Studio and first aired on April 7, 2008 on TV Tokyo, running until March 30th, 2009, totaling 51 episodes. Now, let's get into the story. Maka Alburn and her humanoid weapon transforming partner Soul Evans have collected 99 Kishin souls, powerful souls that have been corrupted by madness and have eaten the souls of humans. Maka and Soul now only need one soul of a witch to turn Soul into a legendary item known as a death scythe. The two seek out the witch Blair, who frequently seduces Soul. Hey yo! What is she doing?
Damn, son!
During the battle, Soul tricks Blair into thinking he wants to abandon Maka and become her weapon instead, allowing Maka to take her soul. Unfortunately, nothing happens when Soul eats it, as Blair turns out to be just a magical cat rather than an actual witch. To make up for the souls they failed to collect, Maka, Soul, along with their classmates Blackstar and Tsubaki, all students of Death Weapon Meister Academy, aka DWMA, take a remedial class together under the threat of expulsion if they fail. They are sent to a graveyard to fight Sid Barrett, their former teacher and Meister who had been turned into a zombie. Maka and Soul attempt to perform their soul resonance, Witch Hunter, but are unable to control it, leaving Blackstar to subdue Sid with Tsubaki's chain. With Sid captured, Lord Death reveals the one who turned Sid into a zombie to be Dr. Stein, the most powerful Meister to ever graduate from Death Weapon Meister Academy. Maka, Soul, Blackstar, and Tsubaki face off against Stein, who quickly proves his skills and nearly kills Blackstar. Following Blackstar's defeat, Maka catches sight of Stein's immense soul with her soul perception ability and despairs over how his power vastly surpasses her own. Soul convinces her to keep fighting, and the two perform their soul resonance perfectly. But it isn't enough to defeat Stein. Afterward, Stein reveals that the entire fight had been set up by Lord Death for the remedial class, which they passed. Following this, Maka and Soul go to Italy. Once they finish their mission, Maka senses stronger soul activity coming from a church and decides to investigate. She and Soul encounter Krona, a Meister of the demon sword Ragnarok, who resides within Krona's body in the form of black blood. Just when Maka and Soul are about to be killed by Krona, Stein and Maka's father, Death Scythe, appear to save them, but Krona is rescued by the witch Medusa. The students and staff of the DWMA gather for a party celebrating the anniversary of the Academy, giving Medusa the perfect chance to carry out her ultimate plan, as to revive the Kishin sleeping beneath the Academy. During the festivities, Stein confronts Medusa to ascertain her plot, before Sid arrives to warn everyone. Medusa escapes to launch an assault throughout Death City with the assistance of her minions. Free traps everyone in his independent cube. Nevertheless, Sid allows Maka, Blackstar, Kid Death, and their respective weapon partners, as well as Stein, to escape. The group of heroes then follows Medusa underneath the city, where they make their final preparations to stop her. Kid Death goes further ahead to pursue Free and Eureka, who possess the black blood intended to awaken the Asura. Blackstar attempts to engage Krona in combat, but Maka, seeking revenge, convinces Blackstar to catch up to and assist Kid Death, while she fights Krona instead. Maka already discusses with Soul her intention to use the Black Blood's power to gain the same madness Krona has, hoping it will allow her to reach some understanding about Krona's wavelength. Soul relents and allows Maka to slip into madness, promising to pull her out of it before it's too late. Maka is overtaken by madness, allowing her to overpower Krona, but also to match her soul's wavelength with Krona's and see Krona's true will. Maka determines that the source behind Krona's madness is the neglect he suffered as a child under Medusa. Maka's contact with Krona's will throws Krona's soul into chaos, and Soul successfully pulls Maka from her madness. Maka then comforts Krona, purifying Krona's soul. Asura then emerges from underground, but without a weapon. Lord Death unfortunately lacks the power necessarily to properly fight Asura this time around, who flee to spread his madness across the world. Maka and Marie try to help Krona adapt to life as a DWMA student, with little success. Later, Maka and Krona are assigned by Lord Death to investigate an incident in a Czech village involving a berserk golem. They encounter a man named Giriko, who turns out to be an insane weapon involved with the golem. Maka and Krona struggle to defeat him and the golem, while Stein discovers a certain heretic soul inside of the golem. The soul reveals herself as Arcane, a witch that was defeated by Lord Death in the past and had to hide herself in that golem to escape. As Giriko easily beats up Krona and is ready to finish them off, Justin Law, a powerful death scythe, appears and confronts him, leaving Arcane with no choice but to run away with Giriko. The golem stays behind to slow them down, but Justin easily finishes it off. A small man named Mosquito brings Arcane and Giriko into a small hideout, where she, along with all of her minions, swears to defeat Lord Death. The DWMA and the group of villains, now calling themselves Arachnophobia, are imminent to engage in combat over the magical tool Brew. Sid and his team will contain Arachnophobia, while Stein and his group attempt to recover Brew. Shortly after landfall, Sid's team is ambushed by Melfune's Arachnophobia squad. The skirmishes between the DWMA and Arachnophobia eventually end, and Maka, Blackstar, and Kid Death meet Marie and a maddened Stein inside the field. Because their bodies have reached the limit, Stein and Marie are forced to leave the field, while the others proceed to locate Brew. They encounter Mosquito, who claims to have Brew in his possession. He then reverts his body into a stronger form from centuries ago. Blackstar and Maka begin attacking, and Mosquito easily overpowers Maka, Blackstar, and Kid Death, until a little demon called Ogre, a manifestation of Soul's mind that appears due to his encounter with Krona's black blood sword, Ragnarok, convinces Soul to play the piano within his soul, which leads to the dual arts resonance link. Maka, Blackstar, and Kid Death gain an excessive amount of power due to Soul playing this piano for Little Demon, and have completed the dual arts resonance link. After turning the tables on Mosquito, they all finish him off with their soul resonances. First, Blackstar uses Shadow Star, Checkmate Slash, Kid Death uses Death Cannon, and finally, Maka uses a new attack called Genie Hunter. However, Mosquito manages to escape, resulting in the DWMA's mission failing once again. Meanwhile, the real Brew is delivered to Medusa, who also reveals that the snake planted in Marie speeds up Stein's madness. At the DWMA, everyone assigned on the Brew mission is depressed about their defeat against Arachnophobia. Meanwhile, Krona learns of Stein's maddened state and feels guilty for causing it. Maka is confused due to the decisions recently taken by the DWMA, which is preparing for a huge battle against Arachnophobia, to defeat it along with Asura and destroy the 6 Madness amplifiers. Blackstar continues to advance to Baba Yaga's castle. Meanwhile, Krona and Marie manage to find Medusa's hideout and battle with her and a maddened Stein. Krona struggles in the battle with Medusa, but when she moves in to deliver the killing blow, Maka arrives in the nick of time to intercept the attack. Maka, Krona, and Marie continue their battle with Medusa and Stein, but are being overwhelmed. Medusa then moves in to finish off Maka, but Krona pushes her out of the way and takes the full force of Medusa's Vector Blade, leaving Krona greatly injured and seemingly dead. Enraged at the apparent death of her friend, Maka is consumed by the madness and attacks Medusa in a frenzied rage, but Stein comes to her defense. Taking advantage of the opening, Marie uses her healing wavelength on Stein and Maka, saving them from madness. Stein and Marie then distract Medusa, while Maka and Soul use the opportunity to attack with their Genie Hunter, finally defeating Medusa. Stein then tells Maka that Krona is not dead and will make a full recovery, then leaves to take the unconscious back to Death City. Kid Death returns to Death City, and Lord Death is now ready to explain the purpose of the magic tool, revealing that the final tool contains Ebon's soul, needed to operate Brew, and that Ebon once served as one of Lord Death's 8 warriors in the past. Meanwhile, as the DWMA approach Baba Yaga's castle, Ebon finally puts the function of Brew to work and unlocks its power. Soul accidentally pushes himself too far and is devoured by the black blood of the little demon. With Soul the only one who can help him do a dual resonance link, down for the count, Maka goes to bring Soul back, with Blackstar and Kid Death protecting her. And after crossing a long corridor, she finds Soul, who closes the door behind her. Meanwhile, Krona recovers from the previous battle's injuries. Justin Law then convinces Giriko to retreat, and everyone else outside of the barrier is forced to do nothing but place their hopes in Maka, Blackstar, and Kid Death. Blackstar and Kid Death battle Asura with almost no results. Determined to avenge his father and protect the world, Kid tries to charge up, but Asura stabs him and Kid collapses to the ground. Seemingly dead, Kid Death's eyes suddenly fill with a blue light as the lines of Sanzu, the white stripes in Kid's hair, activate and his soul becomes extremely powerful as his death cannon powers up. While Asura is distracted by this, Blackstar takes advantage of the opening and knocks down Asura, allowing the empowered Kid Death to attack. However, Kid faints, and Asura shrinks down to normal size. Meanwhile, Maka is locked in a room with Soul, telling her to open a box containing his courage, in which Soul's voice comes out from the box claiming to be the real Soul, who sealed himself to prevent the madness from reaching him. However, Maka, knowing her partner too well, is aware that the Soul with her is actually Little Demon, who states to be a part of Soul now. Risking being devoured by the black blood while promising to save him, she decides to open a locked box and successfully saves him from darkness. The two of them return to the battle to find everyone else laying unconscious, and Asura is still undefeated. Maka and Soul are the only ones left standing against Asura. Believing that Maka's Genie Hunter is the only one that can combat Asura, her strength and determination upgrades her ultimate attack to Kishin Hunter. But Asura easily shatters the attack and regenerates, and proceeds to issue his own attacks, one of which is blocked by Soul, and for which Maka takes the full hit to protect Soul's unconscious body. As Asura believes Maka is finally defeated, her weapon blood awakens, and she unconsciously continues attacking. But Asura still easily takes her down and forces her weapon blood to concede by waking her up with pain. Meanwhile, Krona tells everyone that Maka's true strength comes from her heart and not a technique. As Asura tells Maka that all hope for her is lost, she and the others who recover from their unconscious state reply that true strength comes from bravery. Asura, who does not understand what bravery is, then begins succumbing to fear. Afraid, Asura weakly tries to deny Maka's advances, but his attempts are futile when she punches him straight in the face. Realizing that bravery is just like madness, Asura explodes, cleansing the world of his madness, once and for all. However, Kid Death fears the rebirth of another Kishin. Maka remains confident as everyone has bravery in their hearts, and thus concludes the series of Soul Eater. And that's it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, slap the bell icon so you never miss any updates, and until next time, peace.